Sabbath peace.
Sabbath peace.
It's another opportunity for us to come together and hear and learn of the word of truth that's given to us by the Most High God. All honor goes to the Father through the Son, whose name is Yahushua. In him lies the only hope for salvation. We know that it is obtained by grace through faith, not of works, lest anyone should boast, and given freely as a gift to all who obey him. We understand that if you do not obey him, it is made manifest or made obvious that you do not believe. In this state, you should expect no good thing from the Most High. However, anything that you do get, whether it be a gift of tongues, a gift of prophecy, or any supernatural experience that you might have, it can and it will be used against you in the day of judgment. With that said, peace to the saints that are in the room, to the saints that couldn't make it, to the saints watching on the camera, to the saints in the chat, to the saints scattered all the way around the world, but no peace to the wicked. The only thing we say to them is repent that they might live. All right. What did we talk about last week? Last week, what was the topic? I'm trying to remember my darn self.
Last night.
Huh?
So what you said about that last night? We talked about.
What we talked was it last week we were talking about washing the feet, or was that the week before?
Nah, that was the week before. Last week we talked about how they was coming to get Yahushua. They took him.
Ah, that's right. That's right. Right. Last week was the setup. Right. Y'all remember Judas came out. Judas kissed him on the cheek. Oh yeah, there he is. That was the signal. So Judas, if y'all remember, Judas got paid 30 pieces of silver. Right? 30 pieces of silver. Put it away. 30 pieces of silver to set up Yahushua. That's what he did. He pointed out Yahushua in the place that they always used to be at. And then all the people came and they tried to grab Yahushua. Y'all remember what happened to him when they tried to grab him? Everybody fell back, didn't they? Right? And then Peter whipped out the sword and he cut off the man's ear. Right? And the man holding his ear, Yahushua had to put his ear back on it and heal it for him. He had to heal it for him. Look, man, this all right. They ain't doing nothing they ain't supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? Nothing I ain't gonna let them do. Right? So then the Most High God, you know what I'm saying, went ahead and let Yahushua, you know what I'm saying, give himself over. Right? For the sake of the prophecy. So now what we're about to do is we're about to pick up, because when he gave himself over, they took him immediately to the high priest to have a trial, to have a court. You know what I'm saying? They have a court case against him. We're about to pick that up. That way we can kind of look at what happened with the court case. We're gonna see, you know what I'm saying, what the outcome was. So let's start. Let's go ahead and start from Luke chapter 22. It's Luke chapter 22. Give me verse 54. We're gonna try to shoot through a whole lot tonight. This is Luke chapter 22, verse 54. Let's see what the book says. You on mute? This is Luke chapter 22, verse 54. Watch what the book says.
Then they took him and led him and brought him into the high priest's house. And Peter followed afar off. And when they had kindled a fire in the midst of the hall and were sat down together, Peter sat down among them.
Right. So look, this is the scene. You got to understand the scene. So Yahushua get gaffled up by all the people. That's what we read last week. They take him, right? They like the police, right? So they take him, but they take him to the high priest's house, right? When they go there, Peter is looking out for his man. Because if y'all remember from last week, when they grabbed Yahushua, Yahushua was like, no, don't try to fight him. And after he told them that, the disciples is confused. Like, okay, if we're not supposed to fight, then what are we supposed to do? So they take him, everybody else take off running, right? So then Peter, that's his man. So it's like, okay, well, clearly he wanted to be captured, but I'm going to keep an eye on him, right? So Peter kind of watching. You know what I'm saying? Like looking like what they gonna do to my man, right? So then Peter, they set up a fire. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a little cold. You know what I'm saying? So they set up a fire. This is in the middle of Abib, right? So this is like for us, this would be like March, right? Because they in the middle of our first month. You know what I'm saying? So for us today, this would be like March, right? March is the third month for America. But in the Hebrew, that would have been about the first month, right? So they in the middle of March, it's not all that warm. And it's night. So they got a fire burning. You know what I'm saying? Got the fire going, trying to see what's going on. And so Peter get with the people that got the fire just so he can keep eyes. So he watching like this, acting like he trying to just keep warm by the fire, but really he trying to keep an eye on Yahushua at the high priest's house, right? Let's see what else happened.
But a certain maid beheld him as he sat by the fire and earnestly looked upon him and said, this man was also with him. And he denied him, saying, woman, I know him not.
What verse is that?
57.
That's 57?
Yeah.
Okay, hold that. Go to keep going. That's all right. Keep going.
And he denied him, saying, woman, I know him not. And after a little while, another saw him and said, thou art also of them. And Peter said, man, I am not.
Right? So Peter, look, they looking at Peter and they looking like, you run with Yahushua, don't you? He's like, nah, man, I don't know nothing about that. Right? Then somebody else came up to him like, hey, ain't that you the dude that run with Yahushua? You know, the one they just took up. You one of his boys. You know what I'm saying? And he got a little more excited at that. He like, man, no, I ain't. Right? Now watch what he do. Come here, keep going.
And after a little while, another saw him and said, thou art also of them. And Peter said, man, I am not. And about the space of 1 hour after, another confidently affirmed, saying, of a truth, this fellow also was with him, for he is a Galilean. And
watch this. He said, look, look, it's another guy that came. This last one that came, he looking like, no. No question about it. That's definitely Yahushua, man. You know what I'm saying? He a Galilean. I know a Galilean when I see a Galilean. You know what I'm saying? You a Galilean, that means you from the north, right? That means you up north. So, you know, they dress different. They act different. Probably got a little different accent. You ever see somebody down south? You know what I'm saying? Somebody down south, they talk with an accent. You know what I'm saying? With a southern accent. Or somebody from New York, right? And they talk with an East Coast accent. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? They probably got like a little different accent. It's probably things you can see and you could tell. Plus, it's like, you not from around here. We from Judah. You not from around here. You probably a Galilean. So he's looking at him like, no, he's definitely a Galilean. Right? He's definitely, you know what I'm saying? Like, that boy, what? You see how that boy, you know what I'm saying? The Northtown boy, you know what I'm saying? They used to wear their jeans different than we did. You know what I'm saying? So you look at them boy and be like, that boy definitely from the, you know what I'm saying? You got the hood bloods is different from the coast bloods. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, they behave differently. You know what I'm saying? It's like, nah, that boy definitely from the north. You know what I'm talking about? So that's how he looking at this dude like, nah, he definitely, we just gaffled up Yahushua. We've been looking for this man. Now we see him. I feel like you one of them. And then watch what Peter respond with. Peter ain't playing with their butt.
And Peter said, man, I know him not, what thou sayest. And immediately while he yet spake, the cock crowed. And
he looking like, man, I don't know him. Talking about Yahushua. He's trying to convince them. Nah, remember, he trying to pretend like he just getting warm, but he trying to keep an eye out for Yahushua. So they kind of see him acting weird. They looking like, you rumbling. That's your boy. Nah, that ain't not me. I don't know who you confusing me with. Right? Then the next one come up like, nah, I think that is. Yeah, you run with him. Nah, I don't run with him. Nah, man, I don't know what you talking about. Then the last one come like, no, he's for sure a Galilean. You definitely run with him. Man, no, I'm not. Right? He trying to convince him that he not. Then watch what happened. Keep going. It say the what crow? You still on the live?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. He said the what crow?
And the Lord, and immediately while he yet spake, the cock crowed. And the
right?
Lord,
so I don't know if y'all remember, but a couple of weeks ago, Yahushua told him that was going to happen. Right? Yahushua said, listen, I know you ride with me, Peter. I know what you thinking in your head, but I'm telling you, you going to deny me 3 times, and then the bird is going to crow. Right? So now Peter did it because he's not thinking about what Yahushua said. He just thinking out of fear. And then all of a sudden, he deny him. And then all of a sudden the bird, and he hear the bird, he looking like, dang it, that man is right again. Right? He was right again. Watch this. Keep going.
And the Lord turned and looked upon Peter, and Peter remembered the word of the Lord, how he had said unto him, before the cock crowed, thou shalt deny me 3 times.
So Yahushua gaffled up. He got his hand behind his back, bunch of people around him. Y'all see the y'all know the dude that just shot, you know what I'm saying, shot the United Healthcare dude. It was a man, he a CEO of United Healthcare, right? And they got a video. In a video, you know what I'm saying, he just kind of walking in. I don't know what he was walking into, a hotel or a store or something. And you got this dude that pop up on the video with a silencer like this long thing, you know what I'm saying, silencer. But it's a fake pistol. Not a fake pistol, but they say it was a pistol that he made with a 3D printer. So it got a long silencer on it, and he popping, bow. You know what I'm saying? But each time he unload the gun, each time he released the gun, he gotta like cock it back because it's not a real gun. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's just a 3D printer gun. So he pow, pow, pow. You know what I'm saying? And killed him. Right? Ran and walked down on and killed him. Right? So he killed the dude. Then he went off. A weird story now. A weird story. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what to believe nowadays. This guy has enough sense to have a silencer and a mask and all this stuff, right? He jumped onto a bike in New York, ride off on that bike. He dumps a backpack. I forgot what was in the backpack, but he dumps a backpack, right? And he dump it off in the park. Then he ride off. So then somehow they claim they found him in Pennsylvania. And they found him because, you know what I'm saying, somebody recognized his face from a video where he kind of pulled down his mask a little bit, and then they recognize him. And so when they found him, he had a manifesto. Y'all know what a manifesto is? A manifesto, when somebody about to do something big that usually involves killing a bunch of people, they usually write a manifesto. And what the manifesto is like they message to explain and justify why they did it. So a manifesto might be something like, you know what I'm saying, I believe that, you know what I'm saying, I don't know, let me say something that's not that offensive. What can I say that's not that offensive? You know what I'm saying? Like, I believe that people that stay on their cell phones all day do not deserve to live. So that's why I killed them, right? And then he'd go out and kill everybody he see with a cell phone. And so his manifesto would explain it. Otherwise, the police would be looking like, why in the world did he choose these people to kill? The manifesto would tell her, okay, he don't like people that got cell phones, right? So in this case, the man had his manifesto on him. He had his pistol on him still, right? And he had a bunch of other stuff, right? And so people, when they look at it, it's like, wait a minute, a guy who wears a mask, got a silencer, gets away on a bike, escapes out of New York City, which is probably one of the most, heavily surveilled cities in the world, right? And then gets caught somewhere in Pennsylvania. You know what I'm saying? And then when he get caught in Pennsylvania, he dump his backpack, but he keep the murder weapon. So it's like all this weird stuff that's happening. It's like, what in the world is going on with this guy? I don't know what to believe. Maybe the guy that they got really is the guy. Maybe he ain't. None of that is the point, though. They had the man gaffled up, right? And they walking with him. And they got this big old SWAT team and politicians and everybody, big crowd of people around them, walking with him. They're giving them, they call it the perp walk. You know what I'm saying? So they walking with him like that. But they let him out of a head. They brought him on a helicopter, right? Landed him on the helicopter, and then walk with him. So they doing a whole bunch of extra stuff. Extra stuff. I guarantee if I commit a crime in New York City, just a regular crime, right? New York City, and I get away and I go to Pennsylvania, they're not picking me up with a helicopter. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to be in the what they call the paddy wagon, in the back of that thing like this. You know what I'm saying? Y'all remember the one guy in, where was he at? Boston, maybe? The dude in Boston, they had him it was a black dude in Boston. They beat his butt. You know what I'm saying? Beat his butt, broke his neck, and killed him. Right? The police broke his neck and killed him. And their excuse was, we didn't do that to him. He was in, I think it was Boston. I think it was Massachusetts. You know what I'm saying? We didn't do that to him. He was in the back of the paddy wagon. And, you know what I'm saying? We were driving, you know what I'm saying? We had the speed. And they say that he fell back there and hurt his neck. And that's how he died. You know what I'm saying? They told that lie. Right? So, like, that's what the paddy wagon is. That's what we would be on. Any normal person, that's what they would be on. They made a spectacle out of this. They brought him up on the helicopter. They landed him. Then they walked him to the jailhouse, and they got everybody. He in the same jail as P. Diddy. You know what I'm saying? Where P. Diddy at? You know what I'm saying? They put him in the same jail that P. Diddy in there. You know what I'm saying? Puff Daddy. You know what I'm saying? Diddy. You know what I'm saying? Whatever his name is now. You know what I'm saying? So then after that, hold on, who else? There's one more person that's famous and that's in that jail right now. They locking up all the famous people. You know what I'm saying? That they want to get. But anyways, he in there. They make this big old spectacle and they walk around. So the point is, this is what they doing with Yahushua. So Yahushua got all these people around him and he's sitting there. So when Yahushua see out the corner of his eye, he see Peter and Peter looking like, oh crap, that thing crowed. He looked at Yahushua. Yahushua looked over at him from afar. Yahushua, I like to believe Yahushua looked at him like, I told you. You know what I'm saying? Just gave him a quick little head. I told you. You know what I'm saying? And then Peter was like, dang it, boy, you right again. You remember Yahushua told him, I know you saying that you ride for me, but don't you realize that you gonna deny me 3 times and then you gonna hear that bird crow? And Peter denied him 3 darn times. And all of a sudden the bird crow, Peter just like, dang it. You know what I'm saying? He was right darn again, right? Keep going. Watch this.
And Peter went out and wept bitterly. And the men that held Yahushua mocked him and smote him. And when they had blindfolded him, they struck him on the face and asked him, saying, prophesy who it is that smote thee.
Right? So what he said is they smote him. In other words, they smacked him. Bow! And they tell him, prophesy. Tell us who hit you. Remember, we read a little bit of that last week, right? Pow! Tell us who hit you, right? Keep going.
And many other things blasphemous spake they against him.
That's right. Look, so Love reminded me. Tia reminded me. She told me it's the crypto guy. So y'all remember his name, Sam Bankman-Fried. You know what I'm saying? That's his name. Sam, what type of name is darn Sam Bankman-Fried? You know what I'm saying? And you do crypto. You know what I'm saying? That made me feel like that's a fake name, ain't a real name. Sam Bankman-Fried. Crypto's like Bitcoin. You know what I'm saying? Ripple, Doge. You know what I'm saying? All these little coins they got. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, Sam Bankman-Fried is the other one that they got locked up. They set that boy up. You know what I'm saying? It's probably his mom and dad that set him up for real. You know, because you know what I'm saying, they come from money and everything. They let him, run this little crypto currency company. And then, you know what I'm saying, he do a whole bunch of illegal stuff. He the CEO of it. But you know, he's a kid. He's a young guy. You know what I'm saying? So it's probably a whole bunch of people around him making a whole bunch of money from that thing. And they just let him take the fall. You know what I'm saying? It look like he holding it down now. Or he just too stupid to even realize what happened to him. So you never really know what these darn people. They put mediocre people in these positions and let them take the fall. You look at I told y'all, if we go back far enough in my videos, I told y'all how this thing was gonna play out with Trump. I told you, I said, look, they about to set up all these black people to try to prosecute Trump, and every one of them gonna be in a tougher position because of it. Right? And that's exactly what happened, right? You take the mayor of New York, right? He tried to be against Trump for a little while, and he accepted all the migrants in, and then all of a sudden, when he changed his mind, he was looking like, nah, it's too many migrants. You know, the Democrats, he a Democrat. Democrats, y'all gonna have to fix that. As soon as that happened, they opened up cases on him. You know what I'm saying? No, you was funneling money to Turkey. You know what I'm saying? It's the mayor. What happened? Got a little darker, didn't it? He's like, this the mayor, what's his name? Mayor New York. It was looking like, yeah, no, you know what I'm saying? You was funneling money to Turkey. So now they got a case on him. So now he a big Trump supporter. He trying to get that pardon from Trump because he probably did do something in Turkey, right? Then he black though, right? Then you got a New York prosecutor. I forgot the name. Letitia James, maybe. You know what I'm saying? She prosecuted Trump. They going over all her cases now. You got I think it's Alden Bragg, I think it's the other one. He the one that prosecuted Trump and got him convicted on those 34 counts, right? So then now they shut that whole thing down, right? That's probably not gonna go nowhere. And then now they pointing at him. He's the one that brought the charges on the white dude that choked out the black man that was in the subway and choked him out and killed him. You know what I'm saying? And he just got let off for that. He's the one that brought the charges on him. So the reason why they looking at it, because this whole time they looking at the rest of his Trump case, they looked at that like it was politically motivated. So now the white folk can look at this one with this white dude choking this black man, and what they do, they look at him and say it's politically motivated too. So they drop charges on it. They're all skeptical of him because it ruined his career, right? Then the worst one You got the lady down in Georgia. Y'all remember the famous mug shot that Trump had? You know what I'm saying? Like right when he started running for president, they locked that boy up in Georgia and he took that mug shot and everybody was like, yeah, he looked like Ice Cube, you know, all that stuff. So like that mug shot came from Fannie Willis. Mug shot is when you go to jail, you know what I'm saying? You go to jail, they take a picture of you. They call it a mug shot, right? But anyways, you know what I'm saying? That was Fannie Willis. She was the prosecutor. So she was the prosecutor. She hired another prosecutor. She ended up dating and commingling with that prosecutor, which she wasn't supposed to do. It came out, right? And guess what? All the Democrats that hyped her up to do this, all of them stepped back. Now she's about to lose her license. She's about to do all types of stuff. The prosecutor that she hired with her to prosecute Trump and try to get him all in all that trouble, he just got caught, you know what I'm saying, dealing with the White House. So that's a federal crime at that point. So he's probably about to go to jail because you're not like the Joe Biden is the president. Donald Trump is running for president. Joe Biden is never supposed to have nothing to do with prosecuting his political opponents. Now everybody know that's what he's doing, but he got to be slick. He can't have no breadcrumb. Nobody can know it. Well, guess what? They let him know it through the black man. What do you know? The one that's setting up Trump, the one that's trying to get Trump, this, that, and other. And they just going to let all these black people, they put all these black people up front to press all these charges and do all this crazy stuff that was completely illegal. Let us take the fall for it. And then they just keep moving. And that's the same thing they doing with Sam Bankman-Fried. That's the same thing they probably doing with this dude that shot the United Healthcare dude. And guess what? That's what they trying to do to my man Yahushua. You know what I'm saying? So Yahushua, he locked up. Boom, right here. You know what I'm saying? Keep going. Where we at? What verse?
Okay. And as soon as it was day, the elders of the people and the chief priests and the scribes came together.
What is it? Luke chapter 22, verse what?
66.
66. Keep going.
And as soon as it was day, the elders of the people and the chief priests and the scribes came together and led him into their council, saying, Art thou the Messiah? Tell us. And he said to them, If I tell you, you will not believe. Mm-hmm. And if I also ask you, you will not answer me, nor let me go. Mm-hmm. Hereafter shall the Son of Man sit on the right hand of the power of God. Then said they all, Art thou then the Son of God? And he said unto them, Ye say that I am. And they said, What need we any further of witness? For we ourselves have heard of his own mouth. You want to go to the next chapter?
Let's go to Matthew. Matthew chapter 27, verse 1. This is Matthew chapter 27, verse 1. So you can see after they said, they looking like, nah, man, this is it. We don't need no more witnesses. Put this man to death, right? How you think that make it? How you think Peter feel? He warming up by the bonfire. He see that. He hear them out of the room. Put him to death. How you think that made Peter feel? Like, what? They about to kill my man? My man ain't do nothing wrong. Well, he ain't the only one that feel a certain way, right? This is Matthew chapter 27, verse 1. Watch the book say.
When the morning was come, all the chief priests and elders of the people took counsel against Yahushua to put him to death. And when they had bound him, they led him away and delivered him to Pontius Pilate, the governor.
Right, so Pontius Pilate is a Roman, right? But the Romans, because they own all of the land, you know what I'm saying? They taken over all this land. They put governors over different people's land so they can kind of keep an eye on things. So our people took Yahushua to the governor. Watch. There's a reason why we did that too. We'll talk about it in a little bit.
Then Judah, which had betrayed him, when he saw that he was condemned, repented himself and brought again the 30 pieces of silver to the chief priests and elders.
Right?
saying,
So now Judas, he repented himself. In other words, he felt bad. He was looking like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. He regretted it. Right? And so the way I read this, the way I think I like to believe how it went down is I don't think Judas was trying to set him up to die. I think Judas' plan was, I'm going to get the money. I know my man is going to beat the case. Right? I think he was just trying to make a quick buck. Give me the 30 pieces of silver. I'll point them out to y'all. Y'all wasting y'all time. No, he's clean. My man ain't never did anything. Go ahead. Try to find something on him. And so Judas is watching too, just like Peter. He looking like counting his money. And then he see it ain't going the way he thought. And they say, no, condemn him to death. When Judas see that, he looking like, no way. No way. So watch what he say. Watch what he do.
And he repented himself and brought again the 30 pieces of silver to the chief priests and elders, saying,
Right. So he thought he could bring the money back and give him a refund. Like, nah, because he feel guilty now. He like, man, nah, I got to make this right. Nah, here, take the money. Take the money. Watch what they say to him.
30 pieces of silver to the chief priests and elders, saying, I have sinned in that I have betrayed the innocent blood. And they said, what is that to us? See thou to that.
Right? So he's telling them he's innocent. They don't even want to hear it. They're like, they ain't got nothing to do with us. You know what I'm saying? That's your money. You know what I'm saying? What you telling us for? That's pretty much what they said. What you telling us for? Right? Keep going. Watch this.
Like it ain't their job to, like, you know what I'm saying, make people square with the Most High.
Yep.
They out of line. And he cast down the pieces of silver in the temple and departed and went and hanged himself.
So he threw it. He threw it in the temple because he over there with the priest. So he just tossed it, looking like, because he mad. He looking like, what? You know what I'm saying? Just like Brother T is saying, like, y'all supposed to be making this right. Y'all just condemned the man. Y'all think he's evil. I'm a witness telling you he's innocent. Take your money back. This is not what I thought was going to happen. They looking like, what that got to do with us? You know what I'm saying? A deal is a deal. You did your part, boy. You earned that. So he throw it in the temple. He looking like, nah, man, it's dirty money. Right? Then watch what happened.
And went and hanged himself.
He killed himself. Right? Judas killed himself. Why did he kill himself? Because it was dirty money, the boy said, right? He killed himself because he was sad. Right? A lot of times, so like in the book, we wouldn't have called this depression. We would have just called it sorrow. Right? But it was so overwhelming to him because you have to put yourself in these people's shoes, right? Judas is a Hebrew. He's a man of Israel, right? He lived and breathed this stuff. He walked around with Yahushua for years, right? And while he walking around with Yahushua, things are happening. He's witnessing things. This the realest dude he's ever met. Now, Judas got his issues. Judas want to grab money, but he know Yahushua is innocent. And then you see Yahushua get shut down. Yes, that breaks your heart. You never thought in a million years this would happen. So then immediately it all come crashing down on him. So he looking like, nah, man, this is over for me. And he hang himself. And then he died. Right? But that's what happens, right? It's like sorrow does that to people if we don't know how to manage it. Right? If we don't know how to like seek the Most High God, it will crush us. It's not, y'all remember, we don't have to get it, but y'all remember David, right? David was going to war with his son. And y'all remember how David felt? David felt sorrowful that whole time. David was depressed. You remember remember David felt like that whole thing started because he laid down with Bathsheba, who was Uriah's wife. And then to cover it up, he had to kill Uriah. So David messed up big time. Most High God told him, oh yeah, what you try to do privately, I'm going to do it openly. Everybody about to know your bit. Your whole house about to be messed up. You about to be at war with your own house. So David know this is coming. His son do some messed up stuff to his daughter. Then his other son try to kill the son that did the messed up stuff to his daughter. So he watching his whole family fall apart. And he feels guilty about it because although they're the ones making that choice, David is the one that feel like this is happening because of my decision. And I didn't even get punished for it. That was sorrow. David at any point could have killed himself over that sorrow. Right? But he didn't because he maintained his hope in the Most High God. But then you take his counselor. You remember David when he was going to war with his son Absalom? He had a count. Grab second Samuel chapter 15. He had a counselor. He had a couple people that would give him advice, that would tell him like, yo, this is how you should do it. This is how you should do that. This, that, and the other. Right? One of his counselors ended up going to his son. Right? This is second Samuel chapter 15. Jump on down to verse 12 for me. Second Samuel chapter 15, verse 12. Watch this.
And Absalom sent for Ahithophel, the Gileadite.
That's his name, Ahithophel. You know what I'm saying? Ahithophel was David's counselor. Watch, it'll tell you, watch this.
From his city, even from Gilo, while he offered sacrifices, and the conspiracy was strong, for the people increased continually with Absalom. And there came a messenger to David saying, the hearts of the men of Israel are after Absalom. And David
Look, everybody, he's saying the hearts of the men of Israel is after Absalom. What that means is everybody going after your son. Everybody wants your son to be king. Right? So David's sitting there like, man, this thing is a mess. He just felt like this just messy and a mess. Like my own son tried to kill me. It's all my fault, right? That's sorrow. But it's not the type of sorrow that's going to have him kill himself. Put your phone away, boy, unless you read. Right? Keep going.
And David said unto all his servants that were with him at Jerusalem, arise and let us flee, for we shall not else escape from Absalom.
Put that away, boy.
And make speed to depart, lest he overtake us suddenly and bring evil upon us and smite the city with the edge of the sword.
Mm-hmm.
The king's servants said unto the king, behold, thy servants are ready to do whatsoever my lord the king shall appoint. And the king went forth and all his household after him. And the king left 10 women, which were...
Jump on down to like verse 30.
And David went up by the ascent of Mount Olivet and wept as he went up, and had his head covered, and he went barefoot, and all the people that was with him covered every man his head, and went up weeping as they went up. And one told David, saying, Ahithophel is among the conspirators with Absalom. And David said,
right, there we go. He said, look, Ahithophel, so that's his counselor, right? Ahithophel is among the conspirators with Absalom. In other words, Ahithophel is on the other side. Remember, Ahithophel is David's man, just like Yahushua was the man of Judas, right? They ran together. They was making decisions together, right? So now Ahithophel go with the other side. Judas went with the other side. Watch this. Keep going. You there? I think we might have lost it, brother. Let's see what happened. You back?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah. Keep going.
All right. And David said, O Lord, I pray thee, turn the counsel of Ahithophel into foolishness.
Look, David's like, turn the counsel of Ahithophel. So Ahithophel used to give counsel to David. Now David is looking like he giving it to my son, but my son trying to kill me. Yeah, I pray. Please make Ahithophel's counsel that he gives to my son, make it foolishness, make it crazy talk. Right? Now jump over to chapter 17. It's chapter 17, maybe like verse 20. It's chapter 17, maybe like verse 20. The whole book testify Yahushua. Like we think we was reading this, we thought we was reading about David and Ahithophel. No, we was reading about Yahushua and Judas. Watch this.
And when Absalom's servants came to the woman of the house, they said, where is Ahimaaz and Jonathan? And the woman said unto them, They be gone over the brook of water. And when they had sought and could not find them, they returned to Jerusalem. And it came to pass after they were departed that they came up out of the well and went and told the king David and said unto David, Arise and pass quickly over the water, for thus hath Ahithophel counseled against you. And David arose and all the people that were with him, and they passed over Jordan. By the morning light there lacked not one of them that was gone over Jordan. And when Ahithophel saw that his counsel was not followed, he
Look, so Ahithophel, he realized he is looking like, man, Absalom didn't even listen to me. Right? So when he realized, dang it, Absalom didn't listen. So I'm rejected by Absalom, and I know I can't go back to David. Right? When he realized this thing did not go the way I thought it was going to go. Watch what Ahithophel did. Watch this.
He saddled his donkey and arose and got him home to his house, to his city, and put his household in order, and hanged himself and died and was buried in the sepulchre of his father.
He hanged himself. And that's what sorrow does to you, right? If you have sorrow without the hope of the Most High God, it will lead you to death, right? That's where we get to, we put ourselves in dangerous situations, ready to die, right? You got some people, it was a guy, they say he had a whole bunch of weed on him, had a pistol, and he ran up on the Pentagon. Anybody know what the Pentagon is? The Pentagon is like the place, that's like the place where like the military, you know what I'm saying, where the U.S. military, that's where they strategize and they got all their secrets and all that stuff. It's the Pentagon. And they send out missiles and send out soldiers places. They doing a lot of that stuff from the Pentagon. So this is like the place for the military who got all the biggest guns. This dude run up with a pistol and a bag of weed or a whole bunch of weed on him. You know what I'm saying? And just go there. Probably because he wanted to die. Right? Sometimes people they want to die, so then they will go and tell the cop, kill me, because they want to die. Right? And that's what happens when you lose hope, but you got sorrow. You did something you're ashamed of. You done something that you never think you can come back from. Our mindset can't be sorrow without hope. All of us gonna have sorrow. All of us gonna have stuff that we regret. All of us gonna have stuff that we guilty about. All of us should, right? At the end of the day, though, our mindset has to be, if I change my life, if I do this right, it's gonna be rough. I'm gonna have to deal with a lot of stuff because Yah said, by no means does he clear the guilty. I'm guilty. That means I gotta deal with a lot. I'm gonna have to carry a lot. I have a lot of burdens based off of my sins, right? But our mindset can't be, I can't come back from that. If your mindset is, I can't come back from that, that will lead you to death, right? And that's what these brothers did, right? Keep going. Or jump back, where we leave off? Matthew chapter 10. Chapter 27.
Verse 6.
It's Matthew chapter 27, verse 6. Watch what the book say.
And the chief priest took the silver pieces and said, It is not lawful for us to put them into the treasury, because it is the price of blood. And they took counsel and brought with them the potter's field, and bought with them the potter's field to bury strangers in.
Mm-hmm. So it might fulfill what?
Wherefore that field was called the field of blood unto this day. Then was fulfilled that which was spoken by Jeremiah the prophet, saying, And they took 30 pieces of silver, the price of him that was valued, whom they of the children of Israel did value, and gave them for the potter's field, as the Lord appointed me. And Yahushua stood before the governor, and the governor asked him, saying, Art thou the king of the Jews?
Right. I like how John write this part. Let's jump over to John. This is John chapter 18. Let's see what John got to say. I like how he do this part. It's John chapter 18, verse 28. This is John chapter 18, verse 28. So Judas kills himself, right? And now Yahushua is about to get interrogated. Because remember, our people, we took him to Pilate. right? And we're gonna talk about why we took him to Pilate. But he's sentenced to death, and now we about to take him to Pilate. Watch this. This is John chapter 18, verse 28.
Then led they Yahushua from Caiaphas unto the hall judgment, and it was early. And they themselves went not into the judgment hall, lest they should be defiled, but that they might eat the Passover.
Right?
Pilate,
So they said they didn't go into the judgment hall because of what? He said, lest they be defiled. So the reason why they're taking Yahushua to Pilate is because they don't want to defile themselves by putting them to death themselves. Don't nobody want to actually put them to death because guess what? It's Passover. Right? Keep going. Watch this. They'll tell you.
but that they might eat the Passover. Pilate then went out unto them and said, what accusation bring you against this man? They answered and said unto him, if he were not a malefactor, we would not have delivered him unto thee.
Right? So they trying to convince Pilate he's a criminal so that Pilate would kill him for him. And so Pilate asked him, he's looking like, okay, you bring them to me, it's the judgment hall, so what you got against them? They looking like, listen, man, why you even asking us that? We wouldn't have brought him to you if he wasn't a criminal. Right? So they didn't answer his question. They just saying like, man, come on, we wouldn't have brought him. They just want him to deal with it. They don't even want to have to explain themselves. But watch what Pilate say.
Then said Pilate unto them, take ye him and judge him according to your law. The Jews therefore said unto him, it is not lawful for us to put any man to death. That the
Right? So he said it's not lawful for us to put any man to death. Watch this.
That the saying of Yahushua might be fulfilled, which he spake, signifying what death he should die. Then Pilate entered into the judgment hall again and called Yahushua and said unto him, art thou the king of the Jews? Yahushua answered him, sayest thou this of thyself, or did others tell it thee of me?
Mm-hmm.
Pilate answered, am I a Jew? Thine own nation and the chief priests have delivered thee unto me. What hast
right?
thou done?
So he asking Yahushua, he got to take him in privately. But you got to look at it. This is white man. I like to. He might not be white. I don't know, but I like to picture him as a white man. You got all these Negroes, right? And then you got this white dude that's responsible for all these darn Negroes, right? So then him being a Roman, he don't know our customs. He don't know all our stuff like that. So he looking. They looking like, man, nah, man. He said he is the king of the Jews. You know what I'm saying? The only king is Caesar. So Pilate looking like, he said, what? So he look over to him like, let me talk to this. Okay. Pilate too busy for all this. Okay, so you know what I'm saying, are you a king of the Jews? You know what I'm saying? So then Yahushua with his darn smart mouth, he respond, he say, did you say that or did somebody tell you? And then so Pilate, he looking at him like, boy, I'm not a darn Jew. You know what I'm saying? Like, why would I be talking about the king of a darn Jew? That sound like something I say. So he looking at him like, okay, listen, your own nation, brother, these your people that's telling me to kill you over this stuff. Why are you asking me stupid questions? You should be trying to defend yourself, right? That's how Pilate looking at him like, boy, don't you know I can kill you? You know what I'm saying? Like, defend yourself. Tell me whether it's true or not, right? Let's see. Keep going.
What hast thou done? And Yahushua answered, my kingdom is not of this world. If my kingdom were of this world, then would my servants fight, that I should not be delivered to the Jews. But now is my kingdom not from here. And Pilate therefore said unto him, art thou a king then? And Yahushua answered, thou sayest that I am a king. To this end was I born, and for this cause came I into the world, that I should bear witness unto the truth. Everyone that is of the truth hears my voice. Pilate said unto him, what is truth?
Right. So he's looking like, look, Pilate, you gotta picture Pilate. Pilate is too busy for this. He's not invested in none of this stuff. Ain't nobody got killed. So Pilate is looking like this is just some crazy bickering stuff. This is silly, petty stuff, right? So he's talking to him. Okay, so are you a king? You say it, you know what I'm saying? Boy, I'm not no Jew. Why would I be talking about a king? Your own people setting you up to be a king. Y'all sure go out talking about, I ain't, you know what I'm saying? My kingdom not of this world. If it was of this world, you know what I'm saying? They'd be fighting for me. You know what I'm saying? It's that, another, da, da, da. So then Pilate, and you see what he asked after that. He's looking like, So you're a king then. You know what I'm saying? Like just tell me what I need to know so I can know what to do with this situation. So you're a king then. Yahushua, you know what I'm saying? Yahushua respond. Read it again after he said you're a king then.
Thou sayest that I am a king. To this end was I born, and for this cause came onto the world.
Keep going.
That into the world that I should bear witness unto the truth. Everyone
Right? So he said, I came to the world so I can bear witness of the truth. Never has he yet said, yes, I'm a king. Right? He said, you said I'm a king. And he said, well, for this purpose, I came into the world so I could tell people the truth. So now at this point, my man Pilate is annoyed. Right? Watch how Pilate responds.
I should bear witness unto the truth. Everyone that is of the truth heareth my voice. And Pilate said unto him, what is truth? And when he had said this, he went out again unto the Jews and said unto them, I find in him no fault at all. But
right? So at this point, Pilate's just looking at, he talking about, yeah, everybody bear witness to the truth. Pilate like, what is truth? And then just lead the conversation. Like, I'm done with this. He won't give me a straight answer to save it. Like, okay, listen, I don't have nothing on this man. I don't find him guilty. Because again, he never actually said, I'm a king. Right? Pilate just looking at him like he just talking silly babble. I don't understand with the guy. I don't have time for this stuff. I don't have nothing on him, right? So he go back and he tell our people that. Watch this.
I find in him no fault at all. But you have a custom that I should release unto you one at the Passover. Will you therefore that I release unto you the King of the Jews? Then cried they all again, saying, not this man, but Barabbas.
Right? So they said, no, if you're going to release somebody, release Barabbas. Right? Watch this. Keep going.
Now, Barabbas was a robber.
He was a what?
Robber.
So they said, look, don't release Yahushua who ain't committed any sins. Release the robber instead. Right? What else he do?
Then Pilate therefore took Yahushua and scourged him. And the soldiers platted a crown of thorns and put it on his head. And they put on him a purple robe and said, Hail, King of the Jews. And they smote him with their hands. Pilate therefore went forth again and said unto them, Behold, I bring him forth to you that ye may know that I find no fault in him.
Right? So now, because they was like, release Barabbas get released, he kept Yahushua. So instead, he punished Yahushua. They want him to die, but he just punished Yahushua. So he scourged him. Scourged him just mean he took them things that got the little spikes in it. You know what I'm saying? And he started whipping them with them things. That's a scourge. And bow, he scourged that boy, right? So, you know what I'm saying? Yahushua get it butt whooped real quick. And then he is like, all right, now I'm giving them back to y'all. You know what I'm saying? Because I still want y'all to know I did this for y'all, but I really didn't find nothing on them. You know what I'm saying? Then watch what they say.
Pilate therefore went forth again and said unto them, Behold, I bring him forth to you, that ye may know that I find no fault in him. Then came Yahushua forth, wearing the crown of thorns and the purple robe. And Pilate said unto them, Behold the man. When the chief priests therefore and the officers saw him, they cried out, saying, Crucify him, crucify him. And Pilate said unto them,
They start yelling though, crucify him, crucify him. They getting the crowd all amped and into it because Yahushua come out and he put on his head a crown of thorns, right? And you know what I'm saying, and a robe. So now that was Pilate's decision. So you have to understand what Pilate is doing. Pilate's talking to this guy. Yahushua is not giving him straight answers. He probably think Yahushua crazy, but he don't have time for this. He don't got nothing against Yahushua, but hey, the guy is kind of lightweight, calling himself a king. We'll make a mockery of him to make the Jews happy. Put him on a robe, put the crown of thorns, and that's just thorns, right? Thorns taken probably from a vine or something, right? And then squeeze into his head till his head start bleeding. So he get that, and then he kick him out there. Here, I want y'all to know, even though I did this, I really didn't find nothing. No, I'm just doing this for y'all because, you know what I'm saying? I get it. I'm just trying to make y'all happy. But look, I really didn't find nothing on him. After that, the people start yelling, crucify him! Crucify him! They like hang that boy up on the cross, right? Because that's how the Romans used to put. That was like the maximum punishment, like for people who offended the Romans. So they looking like this man. the case that our people are making against Yahushua is he's calling himself king. There's only one king, Caesar. So y'all should crucify him for trying to exalt himself against Caesar, right? So they trying to offer Yahushua up because remember what the high priest said. Remember he told the Pharisee, he looking like, man, y'all silly, y'all don't know nothing. It is better for one man to die than for the whole nation. So the way they looking at it is, if all the people think he a king, it's better for us to offer him up and say, look, this guy trying to act like he a king. Why don't y'all kill him? Then for the Romans to come through and be like, hey, y'all trying to make a king over here? And then they wipe out the whole nation, right? So for them, it's strategy. He looking like, look, take him. He calling himself a king. And some of the people think he king, but he's not king. Kill him, right? So they begging him to crucify him. Let's see what happened next.
Pilate said unto him, take ye him and crucify him, for I find no fault in him. The Jews answered him, we have a law, and by our law he ought to die, because he made himself the Son of God. And when Pilate therefore heard that saying, he was the more afraid, and went again into the judgment hall, and said unto Yahushua, where are you from? But Yahushua gave him no answer. Then said Pilate unto him, speakest thou not unto me? Knowest thou not that I have power to crucify thee, and have power to release thee? Yahushua answered, thou couldst have no power at all against me, except if it were given thee from above. Therefore, he that delivered me unto thee hath the greater sin. And from thenceforth Pilate sought to release him, but the Jews cried out, saying, if thou let this man go, thou art not Caesar's friend. Whosoever maketh himself a king speaks against Caesar.
Right? So that's the case we making against him. We saying Yahushua is making himself a king, therefore he's speaking against Caesar. So our people is putting Pilate in a tough spot, because Pilate's like, okay, if this dude really is trying to make himself a king, Caesar is going to come down on my butt, right? If like something happened, Caesar going to come down on my butt. But on the other end, he looking like, man, this dude, it's something about this dude. And he really ain't saying, you know what I'm saying? Like, he really ain't talking like they trying to make him seem. You know what I'm saying? So he looking like, man, I don't have time for this stuff. And yeah, Sister Pam is right. Sister Pamela is right. Sister Pamela is like, didn't his wife, you know what I'm saying? We don't have to get it, but didn't his wife come? Yeah. Pilate's wife, I think it's, I don't know where it's, it may be in Matthew. Huh?
I think it's in Luke.
In Luke? Yeah, Pilate's wife, you know what I'm saying, comes to him and she's like, I had a dream. Don't mess with that man, right? Do not have your hand against that man at all, right? And so Pilate kind of backed off because he kind of hear his wife like, look, this dude is not normal. So Pilate don't want to do nothing with him. But at the same time, Pilate looking like, if I don't do nothing with him and something happened with this guy, that's my butt. That's because I missed it. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I let Yahushua go and all these Israelites is right? And they write about him, talking about he trying to make himself king. And then it come back, an insurrection is being led by Yahushua. He's looking like Caesar's going to kill me. Like, that's going to be my butt on the line. But on the other hand, it's like, I don't want to do nothing to this dude. It just sounds like he a little, you know what I'm saying, high strong. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what's wrong with this dude, right? So, you know what I'm saying? It's like he's in a tough spot, right? What verse we on? This is Luke chapter 18. What verse?
We're on Luke 19, verse 11.
I mean, not Luke. We should be John, right?
John 19, verse 11.
All right, it's John 19. You said verse 11?
Yeah.
All right, keep going.
And Yahushua answered, thou couldst have no power at all against me, except if it were given thee from above. Therefore, he that delivered me into thy hand, unto thee, has the greater sin. And from thenceforth, Pilate sought to release him. But the Jews cried out, saying, if thou let this man go, thou art not a friend. Whosoever maketh himself a king speaketh against Caesar. And when Pilate therefore heard that saying, he brought Yahushua forth and sat down in the judgment seat in a place that is called the Pavement, but the Hebrew Gabbatha. And it was the preparation of the Passover, and about the 6th hour. And he said unto the Jews, behold your king. And they cried out, away with him, crucify him. Pilate said unto them, shall I crucify your king? And the chief priest answered, "We have no king but Caesar." Then,
right? So they said, we have no king but Caesar, right? He asked them, y'all want me to, Pilate kind of messing with like, y'all want me to crucify y'all king, huh? You know what I'm saying? We have no king but Caesar, right? So now in between this, some things happen. Jump over to Luke. This is Luke chapter 22. Give me like verse 6.
man, that's crazy. So they be quoting the law so much, but they ain't quote the part when it said, you can't have no stranger be king over you.
Right.
Right?
Like we not supposed to choose. If there's a Gentile king over us, it's because that Gentile king took us over. But we never supposed to choose. You know what I'm saying? Like we never supposed to be like, I prefer this king over the actual, you know what I'm saying, son of the living God. You know what I'm saying? So by doing that, it's a violation of our law. Right? We acknowledge him as our king over the son of God. You know what I'm saying? Somebody can be, you could have a Gentile that's our king, but it can't be our choice, right? We can't say, okay, you know what? We in our land and we want you to rule over Israel. You know what I'm saying? Somebody got to conquer us for to be the king.
You said Luke what?
Luke 22, give me like verse 6. I mean 23. Sorry. Luke 23, verse 6.
When Pilate heard of Galilee, he asked whether the man were a Galilean. And as
Right?
soon as
So now Pilate, this is in between. So we just kind of read all the way through 19 because I like how 19 lays it out. But in between all that, right? Pilate is looking for a way not to have to deal with this. So when he heard somebody say that he was Galilean, he looking like, oh, you from Galilee? Oh, that ain't even my jurisdiction. You know what I'm saying? So watch what he said.
And as soon as he knew that he belonged unto Herod's jurisdiction, he sent him to Herod, who himself also was at Jerusalem at that time. And when Herod saw Yahushua, he was exceedingly glad, for he was desirous to see him of a long season, because he had heard many things of him, and he hoped to have seen some miracle done by him. Then,
Right? So Herod already heard of him, and Herod been looking to see him. He been waiting for him. So he looking like this the dude everybody be talking about doing all the miracles and stuff. So Herod was excited. Pilate didn't know nothing about it. Herod knew. You know what I'm saying? Herod like, oh yeah, no, I'm over Galilee. I've been hearing about this dude all the time. I've been waiting to see him. So he is excited. Right? Watch what happened.
then he questioned with him in many words, but he answered him nothing. And the chief priests and the scribes stood and vehemently accused him. And Herod, with his men of war, set him at naught and mocked him and arrayed him in a gorgeous robe and sent him again to Pilate. And
Right? So now, you remember when it say Pilate put him on a robe and a crown of thorns? That's because that's where he got it from. He got it from Herod. So Herod was talking to him. Yahushua wouldn't say, remember, think of it like a celebrity, right? I really, really want to see this guy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, bring him to me. I really want to see him. And you finally get a chance to talk to him. And they just completely ignore you. So he trying to talk to Yahushua. Yahushua won't give him a word. Right? So Herod don't like that. So they start mocking him and they put him on a purple robe. Watch this.
And the same day Pilate and Herod were made friends together, for before they were at enmity between themselves. And Pilate, when he had called together the chief priests and the rulers and the people, said unto them, Ye have brought this man unto me as one that perverteth the people. And behold, I have examined him before you, have found no fault in this man touching those things where you accuse him. No, nor yet Herod, for I sent you to him. And lo, nothing worthy of death is done unto him. I will therefore chastise him and release him. For of necessity.
Right. So when we was reading in John, that's what it was talking about. So when he scourged them, this is where it's because he just came from Herod. He sent him to Herod because he didn't find no guilt in him. Herod looked at him, he didn't find no guilt in him. Herod just wanted to mock him because he wouldn't answer him. Sent him back to Pilate. So now Pilate looking like, okay, I'm gonna whoop his butt, but that's the most I'm gonna do. So that's what we read when we was talking about John. You know what I'm saying? When we were reading in John. Skip on down, jump on down to like verse 26.
Right.
It's Luke chapter 23, verse 26. It's Luke chapter 23, verse 26. Watch what the book say.
And as they led him away, they laid hold upon one Simon, a Cyrenian, coming out of the country, and on him they laid the cross, that he might bear it after Yahushua. There followed him a great company of people and of women, which also bewailed and lamented him. But
Right. So
Yahushua,
all the women is following him and they crying. These are the women that you know what I'm saying that you know they followed him around. Some of these women are disciples. So they crying because everybody is looking like this is impossible. Like this dude literally doesn't do anything wrong. Like what's going on? So everybody crying like what's happening? You know what I'm saying? Like what's going on? Watch what he say.
wait, where was I? Okay. And there followed him a great company of people and of women, which also bewailed and lamented him. And Yahushua, turning unto them, said, Daughters of Jerusalem, weep not for me, but weep for yourselves and for your children. For
Right?
behold,
He said, listen, y'all shouldn't weep for me. You know what I'm saying? Like he's gaffled up. He got this man called Simon, and he's helping him carry the cross, right? Because Yahushua already got his butt beat. So Yahushua's all beat up, right? And he's tied up and all types of stuff. Then they made this other dude help him carry the cross because Yahushua couldn't really carry it on his own, right? Then they screaming and crying and caring like, oh, is that nothing? So the man stopped, turn around and say, don't cry for me. You know what I'm saying? You got to picture it. Like, don't cry for me. Cry for yourself and your children. Right? While he gaffled up, they carrying this cross. He stopped the whole crowd. He's looking back, talking to them. Don't cry for me. Cry for yourself and your children. Why, Yahushua? Watch this.
For behold, the days are coming in which they shall say, Blessed are the barren, and the wombs that never bear, and the paps which never gave suck.
He
Then
said, look, the days are coming where the women who don't have kids and never had kids, it's going to be, those are the ones that are blessed. You're going to be blessed if you don't have kids. He said, the days about to be rough. And the people who got kids, oh, man, it's about to be tough for them. Right? Watch this. Keep going.
Then shall they begin to say to the mountains, Fall on us, and to the hills, Cover us. For if they do these things in the green tree, what shall be done in the dry?
Right? So he gave him a quick little parable. He's saying, if they do these things to the green tree, what you think they going to do to the dry tree? So in other words, I'm a good tree. I'm producing fruit. I'm green. I'm healthy. And they treat me like I'm dirt. What you think they going to do to y'all and y'all unhealthy trees, y'all dry trees? So what he's saying is, if they will do this to me, the same Romans that y'all delivering me over to, right? What do y'all think is about to happen to y'all if I'm the best of y'all, right? I'm the best one. They don't make them no better than me. And this is how they going to treat me. How you think they about to treat y'all then? Right? And that's his mindset. And that's what he's trying to explain. That's why he tell them, you shouldn't even cry for me. Because if this is happening to me, it's about to be bad for Judah. It's about to be bad for Jerusalem. And he talking about exactly what the Romans did in history in 70 AD, how they killed so many of our women. You know what I'm saying? Cutting their bellies open when they got children, right? Women couldn't protect their children. Men couldn't protect their children. Men getting slaughtered, getting taken into slavery. All these things really happened. We had to run and try to escape down into Africa and hid out there until they came and chased us down there and picked us up on the darn slave ships. Right? So all this stuff, this is what he's talking about. He's looking like, this is not what you think it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, you weeping for me, you might want to cry for your darn self. Right? Keep going.
And there were also 2 other malefactors led with him to be put to death. And when they were come to the place which is called Calvary, there they crucified him, and the malefactors, one on the right hand and one on the and the other on the left. And Yahushua said, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. And they parted his raiment and cast lots. And the people stood beholding. And the rulers also with them derided him, saying, He saved others. Let him save himself, if he be the Messiah, the chosen of God. And the soldiers
Right. What verse is that?
35.
35. Jump over back to John 19. This is John 19, about verse 17. It's John chapter 19, verse 17. They cast lots for his clothes. You know what I'm saying? So you remember they put him on all these clothes and all that stuff. Like they, you know what I'm saying? It's I think they put him on just more than, like, they put him on rings and all types of stuff. Like, 'cause they tried to mock him and make him look like, oh, you call yourself a king? Okay, well, let's dress you up like a king. So they put him on his robe. They gave him the crown of thorns, and I think they put stuff on his arms and all that stuff. So then after that, the people start casting lots for it. Because again, he's famous. It's not like he's like just a nobody. Like, a lot of people are there and supporting him, so he's famous. So the people that's against him is looking like, nah, let me get. And they Romans though, you know what I'm saying? Like, all right, well, let me get. You know what I'm saying? Let me get a jacket. You know what I'm saying? It becomes a collector's item. You know what I'm saying? So they kind of just making light of it. It don't mean nothing to them. You know what I'm saying? So they casting lots like, okay, look, let's roll the dice. If I hit the 7, you know what I'm saying, I get the jacket. You know what I'm saying? So that's pretty much what they doing when they casting lots. This is John chapter 19. Give me verse 17.
And he, bearing his cross, went forth into a place called the place of the skull, a skull which is called in Hebrew Golgotha, where they crucify him and two others with him on either side, one and Yahushua in the midst. And Pilate wrote a title and put it on the cross, and the writing was Yahushua of Nazareth, the King of the Jews. This title then read many of the Jews, for the place where Yahushua was crucified was near to the city, and it was written in Hebrew, in Greek,
It was
and
written in
Latin.
what?
Hebrew.
You let these look. Y'all, these people pay a lot of money to go to these Bible schools, right? And you know what they teach them? Well, really, they spoke Aramaic. You know what I'm saying? They get to what does it say about Aramaic? They wrote it in what?
Hebrew, Greek, and Latin.
Hebrew, Greek, Latin. Don't say nothing about no darn Aramaic. These people just make up stuff and run their darn mouth because they don't read the book. If the people spoke Aramaic, why would they write it in Hebrew? Right? So he wrote it in 3 languages: Hebrew, Latin, and Greek. And then watch what happened next. They said that King of the Jews is what they wrote, right? Yahushua, they crucifying him, and they wrote King of the Jews. So everybody can see it. King of the Jews. They wrote it in 3 different languages just so everybody know what it's talking about, right? Then watch this. You still there?
Check. 1 2 1 2.
You back.
All right. Then said the chief priests of the Jews to Pilate, write not the King of the Jews, but that he said, I am the King of the Jews.
Right? So they didn't like that. They looking like, no, hold on. Don't write that he is the King of the Jews. You got to write that he said he was like he called himself the King of the Jews. Don't say he is the King of the Jews. Watch what Pilate say.
And Pilate answered, what I have written, I have written.
Right? So Pilate, I wrote what I wrote. I ain't changing a bit. Right? All that is to process. It's just fulfilling prophecy. Right? Now Pilate in his mind don't believe that he the King of the Jews. In Pilate's mind, he just looking like, oh, whatever. That's what I wrote. I ain't about to change it for y'all. Right? But the Most High God wanted it to be written that way. Right? Go back to Luke. Where did we leave off? Luke 23.
Yeah.
It's Luke chapter 23. What verse?
Verse 35.
It's Luke chapter 23, verse 35. Go, just jump down a little bit. Give me verse 39.
And one of the malefactors which have hanged railed on him, saying, If thou be the Messiah, save thyself and us.
Right? So now remember, it just told him that he got put up there with two other criminals. They say malefactors, two other criminals. So it's Yahushua and it's two criminals, right? So now watch what they saying to him, these criminals, when they start talking to him.
But the other answering rebuked him, saying, Does not thou fear God, seeing that thou
Now
art
go
the
back
same?
one.
And one of the malefactors which were hanged railed on him, saying, If thou be the Messiah, save thyself and us.
Right? So one of them looked at him and was like, if you the Messiah, they talking about, you know what I'm saying, you supposed to be the king, you the man, right? Well, you need to save yourself and save us. Like, what you doing up here if you the Messiah? So he kind of mocking them, right? Then watch what the other criminals say.
But the other answering rebuked him, saying, Does not thou fear God, seeing thou art in the same condemnation? And we indeed justly, for we receive the due reward of our deeds. But this man has done nothing amiss. And he said unto Yahushua, Lord, remember me when thou comest to thy kingdom. And Yahushua said unto him, Verily I say unto thee, today shalt thou be with me in paradise.
Right? So one of them was looking like, man, are you crazy? Like, we all in the same position and you still feel the need to talk mess to this dude? You know what I'm saying? Like, we here because we did wrong stuff. He ain't never did nothing wrong. Like, he heard about him. Like, you know what I'm saying? He ain't never did nothing wrong. Then he turned over to Yahushua like, look, man, listen, I believe you. You know what I'm saying? Whenever you come to your kingdom, remember me. Because he dying. But guess what? He still got hope. So he look at Yahushua like, man, just remember me. Yahushua looked over at him like, okay, for sure. Well, today, you going to be with me in paradise. Right? And notice he said today. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people get thrown off on what that today means. Right? Because go to Luke. We didn't read this, but Yahushua gave a parable. This is Luke, I think, chapter 16. This is Luke chapter 16. Give me verse 19.
Yeah, this thing used to stump everybody. When we first started reading and like trying to understand the book, this one stumped everybody.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, because like when you tell them like, okay, you die, you don't go straight to heaven after you die. But that verse always make them feel like that you do.
Yeah, when people read that, they looking like, oh, you die. He said, today you will be with me in paradise. So in his mind, we all about to die today. I mean, a lot of people's minds, we all about to die today. Therefore, paradise is heaven. When you die, you go to heaven. Right? That's what people think when they read that, but that's not what it's talking about. Read this. This is Luke chapter 16, verse 19. Watch what the book say. And after that, we're going to jump right on back. This is Luke chapter 16, verse 19.
There was a certain rich man which was clothed in purple and fine linen and fared sumptuously every day. And there was a certain beggar named Lazarus, which was laid at his gate full of sores, and desiring to be fed with crumbs which fell from the rich man's table. Moreover, the dogs came and licked his sores. And it came to pass that the beggar died and was carried by the angels into Abraham's bosom. The rich man also died and was buried. And in hell he lifted up his eyes, being in torments, and seeing Abraham afar off, and Lazarus in his bosom. And he cried and said, Father Abraham, have mercy on me. Send Lazarus that he may dip the tip of his finger in water and cool my tongue, for I am tormented in this flame. But Abraham said, Son, remember that thou in thy lifetime received thy good things, and likewise Lazarus evil things. But now he is comforted, and you are tormented. And besides all this, between us and you there is a great gulf fixed, so that they which would pass from here to you cannot, neither can they pass to us that would come from thence. Then he said, I pray thee therefore, Father, that thou wouldst send him to my father's house, for I have 5 brothers, that he may testify unto them, lest they also come into this place of torment. And Abraham said unto him, They have Moses and the prophets, let them hear them. And he said, Nay, Father Abraham, but if one went unto them from the dead, they will repent. And he said unto him, If they hear not Moses and the prophets, neither will they be persuaded, though one rose from the dead.
Right? So this parable is telling you that it gives the impression, at least, that our souls after we die have some type of consciousness. Right? Grab Ezekiel for me.
Yeah,
Because Ezekiel says something similar. Grab Ezekiel chapter 32.
In Revelations, the white robes gave to the saints.
And Cain's blood, right? Or not Cain's, but Abel's blood, right? When Cain killed Abel, you know what I'm saying? Yahushua was like, you know what I'm saying? Why is the blood crying out to me? Right? But this is Ezekiel chapter 32. Give me verse 17, right? Because what this parable described is some place that's separated by a space, but close enough that they can talk to each other, right? And on one side, you're being comforted, and on the other side, you're being tormented, right? And he's talking to him. He's saying, listen, if you would send somebody to go tell my people, like, it's not what we thought it was. Get your life together. And then Abraham looking like, look, they got the law and the prophets. If they don't listen to that, then trust me, even if somebody rose from the dead, they not going to believe it. Right? And it changes how you think about it. In our mind, we always think, oh, if God just did a little more, did a little bit, and did this and did this, yeah, it might work temporarily, but it won't stick. What has to move you is the word. That's how he set it up. If the word moves you, then that's how you do it. Even if you see some great miracle, I know all of us think, oh man, I would really believe if I just saw a great miracle. All of us think, if God just did this miraculous thing, I really would believe. No, man. If you believe, you believe. You just got to dig into this word until you believe. And it's okay to admit, I don't really rock with this word. I don't really believe everything. Some of it I think is fake. It's okay to admit that. It's okay to admit that. Keep reading though, until it become real to you. Until the Most High. Look, when you look at this book and you looking like, I don't really believe that part. You think it's because you thinking logically, right? But what's really happening is you have a spiritual block on your mind. The more that you start to read it, the more wise your mind becomes. The more that you start to practice what's in the book, the more wise your mind comes. And then you look at it, because I remember I used to think the same thing. I used to look at the book and be like, that part's unbelievable. Then I was like, now when I look at it, I'm like, why in the world did I think that was unbelievable when I see this same thing happen every day in my life? But I had a spiritual block on my eyes and mind where I just didn't notice what I was seeing. Right? And that's what happened to everybody. But you start living it, you start reading it, and engulf yourself in this book. And over time, it may not be a year, may not be 2 years, may not be 5 years, right? But over time, if you stay dedicated to the Most High God, the Most High God he gonna do his end of the deal, right? So now you see that Abraham is on one side being comforted, Lazarus is on the other side being tormented, right? Now watch this. This is Ezekiel chapter 32, verse 17.
It came to pass also in the 12th year, in the 15th day of the month, that the word of Yahuwah came unto me, saying, Son of man, well for the multitude of Egypt, and cast them down, even her, and the daughters of the famous nations, unto nether parts of the earth, with them that go down into the pit.
So he said, in the nether parts of the earth, for them that go down to the pit. Watch this.
Whom dost thou pass in beauty? Go down and be thou laid with uncircumcised, with the uncircumcised.
He said, go down and lay with the uncircumcised, right? Keep going.
They shall fall in the midst of them that are slain by the sword. She is delivered to the sword. Draw her and all her multitudes. The strong among the mighty shall speak of him. It shall speak to him out of the midst of hell with them that help him.
Right? The midst of hell. So remember, when we think of hell, we usually think of like the burning fire, right? But when the book says hell and pit and Sheol and all that, it's talking about the ground. It's talking about earth, right? So it's talking about being deep into the earth or being buried, right? So he's telling them, go down into the pit, go down into hell. In other words, deep into the ground and being buried. Keep going.
They are gone down. They lie uncircumcised, slain by the sword. Asher is there and all her company. His graves are about him, all of them slain, fallen by the sword, whose graves are set in the sides of the pit, and her company is round about her grave, all of them slain, fallen by the sword, which caused terror in the land of the living. There is Elam and all her multitude round about her grave, all of them slain, fallen by the sword, which are gone down uncircumcised into the nether parts of the earth.
Into the what?
nether parts of the earth.
Right? So it's calling it the nether parts of the earth. In other words, this is the parts of the earth that don't nobody know about. So this is what Ezekiel's talking about. He's talking about a part of the earth that's dedicated for dead people that are uncircumcised. And the uncircumcision, people who are uncircumcised represent the people that are separated from the Most High God, right? So when we think about these things, it's not that when he said, let's jump back over to where are we at? I think we was on like Luke 23 something.
Luke 16:31.
No, Luke 23.
43.
43. Yeah, jump back over to Luke. Actually, go to Mark. Go to Mark 15:27. This is Mark chapter 15:27. But when he was talking to the malefactor, to the criminal, and the criminal was like, look, man, just remember me when you come to your kingdom. He told him, today you will be with me in paradise. A lot of people think that's talking about heaven. No, it's not. It's talking about the resting place of the soul with the circumcised, though, with the people that's chosen by the Most High God, with the people that's going to be comforted that we heard about from the parable that's in Luke chapter 16, where Abraham was, right? So you're on Abraham's side, or you're on Lazarus' side, which is the uncircumcised. What we saying is you got to be on Abraham's side, because what did Abraham represent? Abraham was the one that was given the covenant of the circumcision. So when Ezekiel is talking about the nether parts of the earth where the uncircumcised are, he's talking about the side that Yahushua was talking about with Lazarus, where it was torment, right? So our souls deal with this. It appears our souls deal with this after we die, right? Our body is dead, our body is gone, or we sleep, but our souls have to be tormented or comforted until Yahushua returns, right? For the resurrection. So that's what he's explaining to this man. He's saying, today you will be with me in paradise, because Yahushua had to die and go to the side of the circumcised as well, right? This is Mark chapter 15, verse 27. Mark chapter 15, verse 27.
And with him they crucified two thieves. Two thieves. The one on his right hand and the other on his left. And the scripture was fulfilled, which saith, he was numbered with the transgressors.
Mm-hmm.
They that passed by railed on him, wagging their heads and saying, ah, thou that destroyed the temple and built it in 3 days, save thyself and come down from the cross. Likewise.
So now they keep on mocking him, but this is just random people now. As he passed by him, it's random people just mocking him like, yeah, you were talking about you going to take down the temple, huh? Let's see what you do. Build it. You going to rebuild in 3 days? Save yourself then. Big man, you can knock down the whole temple and rebuild in 3 days, huh? It should be easy to get yourself down from that darn cross, right? Keep going.
Likewise, also the chief priests mocking said among themselves with the scribes, he saved others, himself he cannot save. Let the Messiah, the King of Israel, descend now from the cross, that we may see and believe. And they that were crucified with him reviled him. And when the 6th hour was come, there was darkness over the whole land unto the 9th hour. And at the 9th hour, Yahushua cried with a loud voice, saying, Eloi, Eloi, lama sabachthani, which is being interpreted, my God, why hast thou forsaken me? And some of them that stood by, when they heard it, said, behold, he calls Elijah. And one ran and filled a sponge full of vinegar and put it on a reed and gave him to drink, saying, let alone, let us see whether Elijah will come to take him down.
Mm-hmm.
And Yahushua cried with a loud voice and gave up the ghost. And the veil of the temple was ripped in twain from the top to the bottom. And when the centurion which stood over against him saw that he so cried out and gave up the ghost, he said,
watch this.
This man was the Son of God.
He said, truly, this man was the Son of God. Right? This is one of the, you know what I'm saying? This is one of the top, one of the most powerful things in me, because you kind of get to witness this. And if you imagine yourself there, you witness it in real time. These people are mocking him. Everybody looking at him and doubting him. Like, nah, if you so powerful, you know what I'm saying? Get yourself down, this, that, and other. And it takes until he dies. And then as soon as he died, the centurion looking at him like, oh no, he was the real deal. Because he see what happens when he dies. As soon as he dies, the temple veil rip apart. Watch this. That's not it, right? Because Mark is not telling you everything. Go to Matthew chapter 27, verse 50. This is Matthew chapter 27, verse 50. Right? They beat the man, mocking him, you know what I'm saying? Smacking him upside his head, whipped him and scourged him, put a darn crown of thorns on his head. He bleeding out. He couldn't even carry his own cross, had to get somebody to help him. He yelling back to the people, don't cry for me, cry for your darn self, Argentina. Right? Because it's about to go down. Right? They mocking him all the way through. And then he died, and the man say, oh, that was the Son of God for real. We got that one wrong. Well, it's too late now, ain't it? Right? This is Matthew chapter 27. Give me verse 50. Watch this.
And Yahushua, when he had cried again with a loud voice, yielded up the ghost. And behold, the veil of the temple was ripped in two from the top to the bottom, and the earth did quake, and the rocks ripped.
Right? So now look, this is what that centurion is experiencing. It's not just the veil split. No, it was an earthquake. And it split rocks. The veil split. Right? Everything shaking. Then watch what else happened.
And the graves were open, and many bodies of saints which slept arose.
Right? So the earthquake shook until the graves opened up. And then human beings start coming out of the grave alive. People that were dead, they now alive, messing with Yahushua after Yahushua died. So the centurion looking at all this stuff happening, he's looking like, oh, this guy was the real deal. Surely this was the Son of God. Right? But this is how the world works. Right? Tupac, was he most popular alive or dead?
Dead.
Biggie Smalls, most popular alive or dead?
Dead.
You had a dude that died more recently. His name, Pop Smoke, right? New York rapper. Nobody knew about this guy when he was alive, except you, unless you was in New York, right? He died. People listen to his music a little more. Y'all know this one, King Von, right? Was he more popular alive or dead? Definitely dead. Definitely dead. When he died, that's when all this stuff started going up. Right? But that's what happens. When people die, you have a different level of respect for death. So you look at it and be like, well, let me give that person a closer look. And that's what happened with Yahushua. He died. It's going to happen with every one of us. We're going to be fighting with our family. We're going to be fighting with our friends. We're going to try to convince people that this is the truth. And every one of them is going to test us and poke us and prod us and say, you know what? I don't believe you really believe what you believe. Right? Everybody gonna test us. Everybody gonna try to get us to sin. Everybody gonna really be like, yeah, I don't know. But I assure you, if you remain faithful, when you die, you're not gonna see it. But when you die, they gonna look at you at your funeral and they gonna say, surely that was a child. They never acknowledge you while you alive, right? But they gonna look and be like, that was a woman of God. That was a man of God. Because people need to see that you're going to carry it until your death. Our problem is we always hypocrite and give up. Stuff get tough. Something happen we don't like. And then we switch up the whole plan. That's what our issue is. But we can't be that and serve God. When did Yahushua switch up the plan? When they smacked him upside his head? No. When they whipped him with the scourge? No. When he had to carry the thing, he couldn't finish it? No. When the people was crying for him? No. When Peter traded on him? No. At no point did he switch up the plan. The whole time he looking like, I understand what I'm here to do. I got to do it. I don't care if I walk into the lion's den alone. I have to finish the job. And when you finish the job like that, Most High God gonna let everybody know this was my child that y'all did this to. But we break when people do stuff to us. We break and start hypocriting and start lying, start being petty. What we got to do, we got to say, you know what? Cool. I still got a plan. I still got a job to do. I still got a book that I need to follow. I still got a book of laws that I need to keep. I still got commandments of the Messiah that got to get me into the kingdom. I can't let none of this stuff go. Why? Because somebody made me mad? Somebody hurt my darn feelings? Because somebody hit me? Somebody hurt me? Somebody sabotaged my deal? Somebody stole my money? That's the stuff we gonna go to hell over? No, our minds got to change. We can't be thinking, we can't be so caught up in this world that this stuff affects us so much. We can't be tied. Our souls can't be tied to the stuff of this world. Our soul has to be tied to the Most High God. And when that happens, this stuff ain't moving nobody. Stuff can't move me, slap me, do whatever you want to do. This stuff can't move me. And that's how Yahushua, that's what we got to learn from Yahushua. Right? Grab what verse you on?
53.
Oh, keep going.
And came out of the grave.
Matthew, right? Matthew 27?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, keep going.
He came out of the graves after his resurrection and went into the holy city and appeared unto many.
These are dead bodies, right? The people that were dead, they rose up again, resurrected, and they start appearing unto a lot of people. Watch this.
Now when the centurion and they that were with him, watching Yahushua, saw the earthquake and those things that were done, they feared greatly, saying, truly, this was the Son of God.
So that's what the centurion saw. He saw all this crazy stuff happen. He is looking like, oh, this guy is the real deal. Again, the Most High God ain't gonna let these people see that you for sure a child of the Most High God until until the Most High God see that you willing to die for this. Right? You got to be willing to die for it, and not die because you're trying to get yourself killed. Meaning, I will keep the law and I will keep the commandments of the Messiah, even if it leads me to death. That is the faithfulness that the Most High God is looking for. Y'all get too hungry and start sinning. You know what I'm saying? Get the line on taxes and all that stuff just because, you know what I'm saying, you missed a paycheck. You called off sick. You know what I'm saying, a couple times, and you ain't had no more PTO, get the line on your taxes. Right? Our mindset got to be stronger than this. We gotta be able to look and say, all the evidence says that I'm sick and I'm about to die in 6 months. However, I'm still about to maintain the word of the Most High God. All the evidence says that I'm definitely about to get fired and I'm never going to have another job. However, I ain't got no way to take care of my family and my kids. However, I'm still going to maintain the way of the Most High God. When we got that faith, y'all will either make a way or your butt going to die. And even if you die, guess what? I'm going to be a son or a daughter of the Most High God when I do it. Right? But we can't let this stuff compromise us. This stuff is a trap. It's a trick. Don't believe the smoke and mirrors. A lot of time we think it's over and it's not. A lot of time we think it's the end and it's not. You know what I'm saying? But even if it is the end, don't compromise nothing. Stick to it. Go ahead and jump over. Let's see. John 19. Because Matthew and Mark, they didn't get all of it, right? So John 19 give us a different detail before he died. This is John chapter 19. Give me verse 25. This is John chapter 19, verse 25.
The other disciples therefore said unto him, we have seen the Lord. Wait, hold on. I'm in 20, hold on. Now these stood by the cross of Yahushua, his mother, and his mother's sister, Mary, the wife of Cleophas, and Mary Magdalene. When Yahushua therefore saw his mother and the disciple standing by whom he loved, he said unto his mother, woman, behold thy son. Then said he to the disciple, behold thy mother. And from that hour, that disciple took her unto his home. After that, Yahushua, knowing that all things were now accomplished, that the scripture might be fulfilled, saith, I
I
thirst.
thirst.
Now there was there
Bad
a
boy.
vessel full of vinegar, and they filled a sponge with vinegar and put it upon hyssop and put it to his mouth. When Yahushua therefore had received the vinegar, he said, It is finished. And he bowed his head and gave up the ghost. The Jews therefore, because it was the preparation that the body should not remain unto the cross on the Sabbath day, for that Sabbath day was a high day, besought Pilate that their legs might be broken and that they might be taken away. Then
Right. So that when he says this is the high day, what it's explaining is it's so you have Passover, right? And Passover is the end of the 14th day of Abib, right? Our first Hebrew month. It's at the end of that 14th day. And then it crosses over into the 15th day. So the 15th day is what's called a high Sabbath. It's a special Sabbath, right? And that's on Friday, right? So Passover is on Thursday. Thursday night goes into the next day, which is Friday. That's a special Sabbath. And then after that Friday, you have the regular Sabbath, right? So it's two Sabbaths back to back, right? So what they doing is, because it's time to keep the Passover and it's time to keep the high Sabbath, they saying, okay, hurry up and kill them. So they asked Pilate, can you go in and break their legs? Because the people, they have, you know what I'm saying, when you hanging up, you can support yourself by the legs. So what the Romans would do, if they is tired of the people surviving, they would just break their legs so that you can no longer support yourself, and then it speeds up the pace that you bleed out and you die, right? So he is like, go ahead and break their legs. So they is about to go over and break Yahushua's legs. But watch what happened.
Then came the soldiers and brake the legs of the first and of the other, which was crucified with him. But when they came to Yahushua, they saw that he was dead already. They brake not his legs.
Right? So they didn't break Yahushua's leg because they saw that he was already dead. And watch this.
But one of the soldiers with a spear pierced his side, and forthwith came there out blood and water.
Right? So then he took a spear and he pierced his side. So y'all remember what we read when we read in Zechariah a few weeks back? And Zechariah said Yahuwah is going to show up and they going to mourn and cry over the one that they pierced. This is what it's talking about, right? Because they took a spear and pierced his side. So Zechariah was prophesying to this, right? So when Yahushua come back, everybody gonna cry over who they pierced, right? Keep going. But he is already dead when they did it. So he dead. They stick a spear down his side. You know what I'm saying? When they pull it out, water and blood both come out, right? And that signifies that's prophecy as well. But it'll tell us right here.
And he that saw it bear record, and this record is true, and he knoweth that he said, true, ye might believe.
Did we lose you?
You hear me?
I don't know what's going on. Joe connection. Keep going.
All right. For these things were done that the scripture should be fulfilled, a bone of him shall not be broken. And again, another scripture saith, they shall look on him whom they pierced. And after this, Joseph of Arimathea, being a disciple of Yahushua, but secretly for fear of the Jews, besought Pilate that he might take away the body of Yahushua, and Pilate gave him leave. He came therefore and took the body of Yahushua, and there came also Nicodemus, which at the first came to Yahushua by night, and brought a mixture of myrrh and aloes, about 100-pound weight. Then took they the body of Yahushua and wound it in linen clothes with spices in the manner and as the manner of the Jews is to bury. Now,
right? So they had to go and get his body. So Yahushua was dead, but remember, they supposed to be keeping the Passover. They had to get his body and get it together real quick, right? So this is da 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 da. Let me see. This is go to Mark. Go to Mark 15. Give me verse 42. This is Mark chapter 15, verse 42. right? It's important that nobody wanted to deal with the dead body because it's the Passover, right? So the whole reason why the high priest and the Pharisees and the elders, the whole reason why they brought Yahushua to Pilate is so that Pilate would kill him, so that they don't have to deal with a dead body. Because if you get Mark, so we don't have to get it, but in Numbers chapter 9, right? We're told that anybody who's defiled by a dead body cannot keep the Passover, right? If you made unclean for any reason, you can't keep the Passover, but anybody who's defiled specifically by a dead body cannot keep the Passover. The thing about a dead body is it's not a quick fix. If you defiled by a dead body, you got to go through a whole process, right? You got to do the red heifer. You got to sit there on the 3rd day and the 7th day, I believe it is, and wash. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's a whole process. You're going to miss the whole Passover. That's why Yah gave us the second Passover in the second month for those people who are unclean for the first Passover. So a lot of people are trying to avoid touching the dead body. And that's what's happening here. However, this gentleman, what was his name?
Oh, I forgot his name already. He was from Arimathea.
Was it Joseph?
Yeah, Joseph. That's right. Joseph.
Yeah, Joseph. So Joseph, he's one of the Pharisees, right? So Joseph, he go and he looking like, man, he got money. I said, man, I'm about to get my man. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to get him. You know what I'm saying? I've been playing it back. I've been trying to act like I'm in the middle, but this is foolishness what y'all just did to this dude. So he went. So this is Mark chapter 15, verse 42. This explains better like what he went through to try to get this body. This is Mark chapter 15, verse 42. Watch this.
And now when the even was come, because it was the preparation, that is, the day before the Sabbath, Joseph of Arimathea, an honorable counselor, which also waited for the kingdom of God, came and went in boldly unto Pilate and craved the body of Yahushua. And Pilate marveled if he were already dead, and calling unto him the centurion.
Right? So Pilate was looking like, what? He dead already? Because Joseph comes to him. So they about to go break his legs, right? And then they stab him in the side. They say, oh, no, we ain't even going to break him his legs. He already dead. So after that, Joseph run. He go to Pilate. Because remember, it's short time, right? So he run to Pilate. And he looking like, yo, look, let me get his body, man. I just need his body. I'll do whatever we need to do. But I just give me the body. So Pilate don't care. He looking like, what? He dead already? That's crazy. Yeah, right. So he called the centurion over, right? And watch this.
And he asked him whether he be dead any while, whether he had been any while dead.
Right. So then he asked the centurion, he dead for real? He dead already for real. And the centurion told him, watch this.
And when he knew it of the centurion, he gave the body to Joseph, and he brought fine linen and took him down and wrapped him in the linen and laid him in the sepulchre, which was hewn out of a rock and rolled on a stone unto the door of the sepulchre. And
right. So now Joseph, he then took him, right, and put him in there. So Joseph is defiled with a dead body, technically, right? And this is what everybody's been trying to avoid. This is why all the people didn't go see him. So it's important to understand that a lot of people didn't see Yahushua until after the Sabbath on the first day of the week. Joseph and Nicodemus is the only ones that was like, you know what, forget it. Let's just do it. Right? So they went ahead and gathered them, pulled them together. They laid them to rest. And then they rolled this big old stone over the cave that he in. Right? Go to Matthew 27. Let's go back to 27. Give me verse 62. We can end off with this because there's still a lot more to do. We'll end off. We'll tackle. So he about to be dead for 3 days and 3 nights, according to the prophecy of Jonah. Y'all remember way at the beginning of the gospel when we read that, right? He said 3 days, 3 nights, I'll be in the heart of the earth, right? So he's about to be dead for 3 days and 3 nights. Right now, they laying him to rest, right? So this is Matthew chapter 20. Let me see. This is Matthew chapter 27, verse 62.
Now the next day that followed the day of the preparation, the chief priests and the Pharisees came together unto Pilate, saying, Sir, we remember that that deceiver said while he was yet alive, after 3 days I will rise again.
Right. So now the Pharisees is coming like, I don't trust these guys. They were saying that he gonna rise again after 3 days, something crazy like that. So I need you to help us with this. Watch what they ask for.
Command therefore that the sepulchre be made sure until the 3rd day, lest his disciple come by night and steal him away and say to the people, he is risen from the dead. So the last error shall be worse than the first. And Pilate said unto them, Ye have a watch, go your way, make it sure as you can. So they went and made the sepulchre sure, sealing the stone and setting a watch.
So then they was watching it and guarding his gravesite to make sure that none of his disciples came and tried to make it look like he resurrected, because that's been the rumor, right? So they tried to make sure that nothing could happen. So what we're going to read is next week, we're going to look at after 3 days and 3 nights, how he rose and how it played out, right? The angels role in it, and then what he said to his disciples after he rose, after he rose from the dead, how he showed himself to them, how they felt, they didn't even know who he was, all types of stuff. But we're going to get into that next week. And then we might even talk a little bit about the calendar and the timeline, because this is how what we read next week is how we figured out how the calendar should work, right? But we'll look at that next time. In the meantime, are there any questions? Right? Y'all just witnessed the Messiah die. Right? Y'all are now reaching the very end of the gospel. Right? We only got probably next week we'll finish up the gospel. I'm almost positive of it. Y'all willing, right? We'll finish up the gospel next week. You know what I'm saying? But are there any questions about anything that we just read? Oh yeah. Sister Tia said tomorrow is the fast. Tomorrow at sunset. That's where we begin the fast. Fast for 24 hours. You know what I'm saying? What is a fast? A fast is afflicting your soul, so you want to at least refrain from eating. You know what I'm saying? You can drink water, you know what I'm saying, but refrain from eating. You know what I'm saying? No juice, no coffee, none of all the stuff, just water. And if you want to do a fast like some of the men of God in the book, then you would do no water, no food. So that'll be the fast. We're gonna do it for 24 hours, and praying for the return of our people back into the land, for the mercy of the Most High God. If y'all won't join us tomorrow on the Sabbath call, the fellowship call, if you want to join that and get the Google Meets, just reach out to one of us, and one of us to share the Google Meets with you, and all that. That's it. No other questions? All right, well, let's pray out.